Who doesn't want to know what happened to JFK? Let's say that the CIA is 100% behind any one of those or all of them. What's the next step?
Well, the people that did it are dead, but the channels are still there. The thought process is still there that allows that to occur. It allows them to step outside the Constitution and murder somebody.
Does the organization get dismantled? What do you guys think about the fact that RFK will have pretty much, sounds like, free reign to investigate all of the former assassinations and attempts? What do you think's going to come out of that?
I don't know, but I love it. I love the fact that that Trump is willing to bring in people, even that he ran against, who have the courage to speak out against, the power elites in this country, bring them on the team, and, whether it's Elon Musk, RFK, and, let them go to work. Because obviously we have a ton of unpacking. We have a ton of house cleaning to do, and you're going to need people with that level of courage and strength.
I mean, shit's going to come out. If Trump gets in there and RFK gets access to this, there's going to be some shit that comes out. What does that look like? What does it look like?
I think
if the American people find out that the government is the one who orchestrated all these assassinations and assassination attempts? What does that look like in daily life?
Go ahead, Eli.
I honestly don't know, but I do know this: if we're going to turn this country around, and I think that's what we all want. It's got to happen, right? We can't keep having a government that's supposed to represent the people working against the people, and trying to, take out and silence political opposition and the people themselves. And so it's gotta happen. So it could get really, really ugly. Obviously at the bare minimum, you're going to see, trust that already is really not there plummet even more. But it could get worse than that.
What do you think, Tim?
I welcome it. I think you're going to have to tear it down to build it back up, because these agencies have a history of this, and they have a track record. I mean, we can talk about the UFO stuff all day long, but these assassinations are just, the way they put them together. And the gun that allegedly shot John F. Kennedy was a Mannlicher Italian carbine. It was written up as a gun that never won a war. He could have gone into a Western Auto and bought something of much more precise. And every one of these is just too much. And I think it needs to happen. We need a cleaning, and it should have happened years ago. And I think it's also going to put more people's trust in Trump, because on both sides, people don't trust the government for good reason. Mm-hmm. I think that could be a unifying factor.
Well, I think so too. I mean, who doesn't want to know what happened to JFK? But where I'm going is, if the government is involved, let's say everybody thinks it's CIA, right? Let's say that the CIA is 100% behind any one of those or all of them. What's the next step?
Well, the people that did it are dead, but the channels are still there. The thought process is still there that allows that to occur. It allows them to step outside the Constitution and murder somebody. And so I think that needs to occur before we have a cleansing.
Does the organization get dismantled?
I think it could. It's going to reemerge as something else. I mean, if it has a vital need, then yeah, it should reemerge. But if it doesn't, then it should be taken down. We didn't have an EPA, and I think Nixon brought the EPA in, Environmental Protection Agency. So it's or Reagan. One of the Republicans did. I'm sorry, I'm losing my chain of thought. But yeah, I think it should.
It'll be tough, Shawn. I mean, it's like a lot of these things. A lot of it's going to depend, to me, on the people of this country and whether or not they pay attention and they engage on it, right? Like we were talking at breakfast about, just the primary votes that we just had, right? Only a little over 30% of people turned out to vote in our primary election. I was talking to my friend Corey Mills. He's also been investigating this assassination attempt with myself and others. And he said in his district, it was 19% of people. And so we love, and I'm as guilty as anybody at pointing the finger at politicians, but a lot of it is going to have to do with what they want and how they rise to the occasion. Because if you keep seeing numbers like that, nothing's going to change. And so a lot of it, like they can fire me and Tim every 2 years if they think we're doing a horrible job. Right?
Yeah.
Every 2 years you can get rid of me, right? But because people don't pay attention, because they're complacent, and because we've had it so good here for so long, there's people of this country are pretty complacent. They're pretty checked out, and they don't really pay attention. And so I think that's what it's really going to hinge on, is how fired up they get. If in a hypothetical that this stuff comes out, I think it's going to hinge on them. If they pay attention, if they coalesce together, and if they demand change. Because if we see the same, pathetic turnout that we see all the time, and just a bunch of people that want to talk about it but not be about it, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean,
like there's millions of Christians that won't vote right now.
They won't vote.
There's hundreds of thousands of outdoorsmen that won't vote. There's demographics that would usually, identify with in the two-party system, with the Republican side of things, that just don't participate and they don't vote, and they have their own reasons for it, but to my point, we can sit here and, and let's do it. I'm all about it. Let's do it. Let's blame politicians, but who keeps sending those politicians to Washington?
No, I'm with you. I mean, there's the old saying, Congress has a 10% approval rating and a 90% reelection rate.
Yep.
And that is lazy fucking citizens that can't get off their ass.
It was just like when you were doing that survey. You got frustrated, didn't you?
I did. And then we got,
yep.
I think we're getting close to 350,000 signatures now.
Thankfully, you stayed after it. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I was going to say, when we, my campaign manager, Thomas McAfee, and I, we go out and knock on doors, and we use a registered voters list. And you go by a house that's got the "Don't Tread on Me, I'm Proud American," or a Trump flag. I say, pull up that, why aren't we stopping there? And he'll pull up the list, and he'll double check it and triple check it. Ain't nobody there registered to vote. And you'll see these guys riding down the interstate with a American flag on, which I think is kind of disrespectful, on the back of their pickup truck, flapping around, all tattered. And you'll pull up and say, "Hey, where do you vote?" "I don't know." Hell, they don't even vote. And that's the mentality. And the left understands that. And they've got these college campuses feeding into this, and they've got this lifetime supply of voters. They just regenerate them every year. And we are very short-sighted on the conservative side, very short-sighted. And we're going to, as my dad would say, I'm afraid we're going to get what we deserve.
Yeah. I think talk is cheap, man. No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.